Welcome to this episode of Man Talk Real Talk, where we've got something different for you today. What we've done, we've put together clips of all of the episodes to date. There's a bit of a recap, those special moments where people have gone, yeah, that makes sense to me. Someone once said to me, repetition is the mother of all skill. The more times you see something, the more chances that it's going to sink in. We've got with us a special guest. The script is in the flow. This is the man that created it. Conor, the working man's coach. Let's give it a little bit of background on how we met. We was on a call. That's how it actually happened. And Conor was in the background driving, Mr. Busy, and then he came out with some words, and these words were like, oh my gosh, well, I've got to speak to this guy. These words were electric. We connected, we spoke afterwards. That conversation was unbelievable. Conor, we're pleased to have you on today. We're just going to talk, man. We're just going to flow. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Thanks, Des, for having me on. Conor Lynch, 37 years old. I have been coaching men and women over this past 14 years. I really dived into men's coaching over this past 6 years. Why? Because of my background, mainly. It's because of my own personal background. And the more and more I was coaching, the better results I was getting. And the more I could tweak my niche to get men the results they wanted. A lot of coaches get confused on who they're coaching. I got very niched on who I was coaching, and it's working men. It's men that get up early morning and build the world. They are my clients. And men need to be appreciated and lifted up, as well as women. But we're coaching men, and we're talking about men here today. My heart is full of emotion for these guys I worked with. And they were not just not seen, they were alcoholics. More so of recent years, drugs have come into it.
What do you think's caused that? What do you think the reasons behind that?
Worst case scenario of not being seen. I want to say this is very important. Loneliness, and this is not talked about. Loneliness leads as 100% connected to suicide. The drugs and the drink, alcohol and the food are all suppressants, compressing the emotion down, but it's the loneliness that has taken these guys' lives. You just have to take a moment every time we talk about that. It's real.
Well, let me tell you something, Conor. The reason why we started this podcast is purely because we experienced exactly what you're talking about. And I've done some research on this recently. 3 out of 4 suicides are committed by men. It's one of the biggest killers of men under the age of 50. Okay? When we experienced that scenario in our family, it was devastating. And the reason why we were able to get through that moment, right? Because we were on our way to Barcelona. We were just about to board a plane, and we got the news. The reason why we're able to get through that whole situation, and every time I speak about it, it still touches me. It still affects me. In fact, I've got his image in front of me whenever I'm working. We were able to. We got the news, and then we had a group of guys around us, strong men, okay. And we were able to still go to Barcelona with that tragic news. But because of that support network that was around us, that was the thing that got us through it in that moment. And in a way, you spoke about the hugging, that touch, that emotional touch. That's what we got in that moment. And it was needed. It was needed. I don't understand when a lot of men go through life and they've got this mentality, and I might be generalizing here, but they've got this mentality that you shouldn't show emotion. Okay, some fathers are emotionally, they're there, but they're disconnected. We have another guy on the podcast, and he was speaking about exactly the same thing. His father was exactly the same. He was emotionally disconnected. I want you to kind of touch more on that, because we totally get that, and the whole suicide, everything it's all connected. So tell us a bit more about the emotional side of men, and why it's important not to suppress that part of it.
For men to get emotional, they have to understand themselves. Because men use emotion as anger. They think that's emotion. That's hiding the actual emotion that they're feeling, because it's the only thing they can express. In the moment, and how I've learned is, loneliness is good, really good. Don't get me wrong. You have to be in your own space, but loneliness is good in the right time. So in order to feel, you have to get really lonely. And men aren't willing to spend that time alone.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in nowadays, like I've spent a lot of time alone to feel who is Conor Lynch? Who is the working men's coach? Who am I? Why am I? Ask yourself these deep, deep questions. Go to networking events, and the questions they're asking, write them down. Get inspired. Ask yourself, why am I here in this room at this moment, at this time? Why am I on this podcast? Who's going to listen to me? The people that are going to listen are the people that need to hear.
That's
and
great.
It doesn't matter who they are.
Say that again, brother. Say that again. I'll tell you what, if people want to understand why we're doing this podcast, those words are powerful words. Say them again, please, Conor.
The people that need to listen are the people who are ready to hear. You don't need to know who they are. You don't need to know. You need to come on. You need to go and do the work. And whenever you become a better version and you're raising your vibration, I talk about vibrational, and people don't get vibrational frequencies. People don't get energy, not the right energy. People don't get that because I never got it. I was horizontal. I was go to work, make money, you'll be happy. That is absolute the biggest lie I've been told as a man. You will never be happy, just money. Yeah. Money will help, but money going the wrong direction, it is not going to help. So you have to learn these things. One of my mentors told me at one stage, I had big numbers and my monthly figures, and he was like, Conor, you have to understand something. New levels, new devils.
Ain't that the truth?
Men have to be honest with themselves. That's where it starts. And I think this is what's happening. People are creating an imaginary reality in their head. They have to be honest with themselves, and that's where everything starts. And yes, I'm a good man. Yes. Do I do good things? Yes. Do I help men that need help? Yes. Do I go and seek help where I need help? Yes. Do I have flaws? Yes. Do I know them flaws? Yes. Am I working on them? Yes. It's about you. It's about me. Because you get back 100% who you are. So if you're getting back something that you don't like, you are that.
Whoa. Brother Conor, listen, brother, how can people get in touch with you?
I coach men mostly online. Yes, I do have a gym. Yes, I do have a retreat center, but that's like a more quarterly thing. So you can get me on Instagram, Facebook. It's just Conor Lynch on Facebook, Instagram at Conor Lynch or at Working Men's Coach, or email at Working Men's Coach, or just workingmenscoach@gmail.com. Send me an email, tell me your story, and break it down. Give me a bit of background, who you are. I like a good story. I like understanding men where they're at right now, and be 100% honest, because I will extract the honesty out of you because that's all I can deal with. I can only work with honesty. You will get the answers and the results quicker if you cut the fluff. Men's talk, real talk. And to myself, I've put in a lot of work to get where I am. And I want to show men it takes a lot to get where you want to be. And you never will stop. This will never stop.
We have with us someone that I actually think is a real positive influence in the community. You see this? He is the owner of Get Juiced, a juice bar in Tooting Market.
Yes, it's Tooting Market.
Tooting Market. And he's a young entrepreneur. He's a nutrition expert. So anything for men, for people in general, he's like an encyclopedia. Awesome, well-rounded young man who's doing some great things in the community and doing some great things for himself. So I'd like to introduce to you Leon Morant. How you doing, Leon?
Doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, good.
Lovely introduction.
Hey, you can pay me later. So you started off as an IT technician.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly branched out and you become this amazing businessman owning Get Juiced. You see these plugs that I'm putting out there, Get Juiced. Okay. Tell us about your journey. Tell us about the things that have happened to you from maybe your youth to where you are right now.
So, starting from my youth, I was very active as a child. Where I lived, there was a play area. So, a lot of my childhood was in the play area, kicking ball, jumping over fences, you know, just running around, beating up bushes and like getting lost in the forest and stuff like that. So, I'd say that my focus as a child was more on play. I wasn't as academic as some children may be brought up to be. You know, focus on the books and the studies and don't go outside and read. And I had a lot of playtime.
Right.
And I think that influence as a person from an early age, from a young age, I wasn't academic.
Oh, right.
It wasn't a focus for me, something that I enjoyed because I had the other side. I enjoyed running wild and kicking ball and doing all the things that I feel like we should be doing as children. It only came to me later in life why I struggled to sit down and be still and, you know, do exams and write down long assignments and read and all these things, because I had so much energy inside of me that just wanted to get up and go. And then I found a hobby of building things. I used to build speakers.
Right.
And then it went into building computers. And then it was like understanding how they work, how I can make them faster, how I can increase the memory. And that journey led me onto my passion for IT and, you know, fixing and repairing computers. Again, I didn't do very well in school with my GCSEs. They were pretty low grades throughout. College, I think I lasted a year at college. I didn't really have much interest. I did computing there. But then I've had the opportunity to do a training scheme. So it was like practical work alongside studying, which suited me a lot more because I was, you know, going to different sites, repairing machines. I was actually at UCL, University College London, their IT department there. I'm really grateful they gave me the opportunity to be there, going out to different sites, different departments, working with different people. We pioneered like video lectures at the time. It was like one of the first video lectures in the world. It was for like BT. So I helped to administrate that. Then I found myself spending a lot of idle time on computer screens. And again, I had this urge, I wanted to move. So that then led me on to traveling, exploring the world. While you're on the computer, you'll see pictures of like a beach in Jamaica or, you know, a mountain in Kenya or all these different things. So from seeing those images, I was like, wow, there's a whole world out here. I need to go and explore. So then I decided I would, after the training scheme, use the money that I saved up to go traveling.
Okay.
So then I went traveling for I think the first stint was like a year and a half. I did some work along the way, and then I did another stint, probably another year. Explored like South America, Southeast Asia, New Zealand, Canada, Africa, like different parts of the world. While doing that, I got into rock climbing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I was introduced to it by this crazy German guy who once basically made me free fall without warning.
Without warning.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
It felt like I was about to die.
Oh.
So you imagine you're 30 meters up and somebody decides that when you're coming down, they're going to let about 5 to 10 meters of slack go at one time. So you just, and it's like your worst nightmare. It's like being in a lift and it just crashing to the ground.
Oh.
But he had his foot on it, so it locked into place. Yeah. Right.
So you're all dependent on his foot.
Yeah, basically, my life was in his foot's hands.
Oh dear.
It was in his foot, not in his hands.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Let's pause there a minute, but let's talk more about your childhood, because in your childhood, you said you were adventurous and you realised
climbing over fences and climbing up trees and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. Climbing.
It's quite a link there, isn't it?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. So what do you think contributed to you wanting to be freer and not wanting to be sort of locked in a classroom scenario? Or how would you describe that?
I think some people are more academic than others, and some people, they're very active and very mobile. You've got some natural athletes out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I've got essence of that. And it's like, I feel at my best when I'm moving. There's a freedom in that.
Yeah.
And I feel restricted when I'm in one place, in front of the screen, for example.
Okay. Before we started the filming and so on, you mentioned about the issues that you had in the classroom and so on. What was the thing that you discovered about yourself?
I discovered when you are different, can't sit still, when you're not academic, then you will be labelled as a troublesome child or a problem. And it's not one, book suits all. The way this system is designed, it is basically that. And they want you to get in line. Otherwise, it's disposable, you're rubbish. You're going to turn out to be nothing. You're a nobody, which isn't the case. And everyone has a gift and a purpose. The way the system is, it's not focused on that. It's focused on how you're best going to be a worker. It's not about your gift and your purpose.
Whoa. Did you hear that? It's not about your gift and your purpose. Purpose. We're going to talk about purpose and your gifts. So what did they label you at school as then?
Well, I got labelled as dyslexic.
Dyslexic. Okay.
And it's interesting because knocked my confidence, being told you can't read, you can't write, X, Y, and Z. You feel like maybe there's something wrong with you. Why is it everyone else can, but I can't? But as a child, you don't realize that not everyone is living the same experience as you. Growing up now, I know there's kids that couldn't go outside and they were restricted to reading and to doing homework. That can obviously influence you to be more academic.
So you mentioned that you're gifted. What gifts do you feel that you have, and how have those gifts that you discovered contributed to you becoming the owner of Get Juiced? Okay. And this entrepreneur that you are now, yeah, I know you own properties and so on, other things. What is it that's made you become that person? You mentioned about the travel and so on. Let's catch up with that now. So how did the travel have an impact on you being this creative person that you are?
Yeah, I guess it's the ability or the opportunity to go back to zero, like my inner core, my true self. And I think it takes time. It took me time personally, actually, to find that. And it was about being in environments where there's no noise, there's no distraction, there's no pollution, there's no unnatural foods, processed foods. It's literally everything that's provided is from the land. The air is unpolluted, there's no cars. The water's from the land, natural sunlight. You know, when you come out of a place so busy like London, for example, you may not see the moonlight.
Wow.
I didn't even know that was a thing, you know. And then, you know, in Brazil, the moon's shining, and I realized I can see over the yonder, but everything's just blue and grey.
Mm.
I was like, I can actually see everything right now, just from the moonlight. So when the moon shines, you can actually see as clear as day, but without colour. It's like just grey and blue.
Tell me a bit more about what you discovered in those moments.
With the moonlight, or in regards to the stars?
In regards to the stars, the darkness that you was in, you know, pitch black and so on. How did that have an impact on you?
It makes you check your values in life.
I love that.
And what you appreciate.
I love that.
And there's a peace that comes with it. You seldom experience that when you're constantly stimulated and you're worrying about, you know, things that are outside of your control. You know, simple ones like a parking ticket or a bill or a letter that comes in the post. Like all these things that we have to deal with, we have to, you know, actually take a moment to think and reflect. There is a lot of stimuli in this environment. You wouldn't realize you're going through it sometimes until you step out, and then your body starts to relax. You know, people go on holiday for this reason. After doing it for a long period of time, that's what helped me get that clarity that I feel like I needed in order to bring through this identity or this new purpose.
Let's talk about health. What's important for men now to understand about the nutritional elements of for their well-being? Everyone talks about the mental sides, but what about the nutritional side of it? How does that work?
What do you find is important for you at the moment when it comes to health? And
when it comes to health, I'm all about natural. I took some codeine in my 20s. It sounds like a major drug, but I took paracetamol with codeine in it. And I had a really bad reaction to it. Really bad, to the point whereby I had to call an ambulance out. My wife was with me at the time.
Oh, wow.
They had to inject me with something to reverse the effects of it.
Oh.
Right. So ever since then, I've not taken any form of medication in that way. Everything I've done, I've sourced and looked for the natural way of remedying myself, of curing myself. So that's me. I've cut sugar out of my diet for my own reasons. Okay, health reasons as well. I feel great. But what would you recommend for men that's important for them to understand in regards to their nutrition?
So yeah, just to touch a bit on what you were saying, sometimes we need that wake-up call. We need that reminder that, you know, it's not just about taking pharmaceuticals. There's other methods of healing as well. And I think for men in general, we have to, like you said, eat more naturally, focus on whole foods, focus on not having processed foods, not having, you know, white carbohydrates. So white sugar, like you said, white rice, white flour, you know, all of these things have a huge impact on our health and huge implications when we overconsume them.
In what way?
So sugar is shown to affect the brain the same as cocaine.
So you're talking about...
This is refined sugar.
Thank you. Right.
So this is white sugar.
Right.
Not to be mistaken by fruit sugars or, you know, natural sugars that we get in different carbohydrates like sweet potato and potatoes and stuff like that. This is specifically refined sugar that has had its nutrients stripped away and refined so that it's just sucrose, basically. And when we consume that, it actually takes minerals out of our body in order for it to be processed.
Right. So we're talking about white sugar now.
White sugar, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
White rice, again, it's got no fiber. So when you consume it, it just blocks up inside. It can block up your intestines and it just puts stress on your body. Your body's then got to put in a lot of work in order to process and digest it and pass it. Same with white flour. Again, with white flour, an interesting fact is it's got no minerals in it, to the point where they made a law that they have to add minerals into white flour.
The white flour.
This is why you see white flour fortified with niacin, iron, vitamin D. So they're actually adding minerals into it because there's no minerals.
Wow.
In
So
it.
I didn't even realize that.
And also, it's used for wallpaper glue. It's glutinous. That's why it's called glutinous. It has a glue.
I remember that at school. We used to mix it up.
Yeah.
Flour at school and make glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what that's doing, inside in your intestines. We've got sea lice in our intestines, and it basically just smothers them and stops you absorbing as many minerals. There are alternatives. I mean, you can get natural grains of wheat like spelt or kamut, which is an ancient Egyptian grain. You can also have sourdough,
Oh, I love sourdough.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to digest. It's pre-digested and the gluten is broken down. So, and also just the amount that you eat it should be moderate, very moderate. Some diets, if you look at paleo, for example, they're like no grains, some raw vegan diets as well. So you'll have different schools of thought that you're going to find. That's another big thing that I feel like people need to be aware of. I think ultimately there's no one size fits all, and people need to tune into their body. Processes of elimination. Eliminating something from your diet. For example, if you eliminated sugar for 2 weeks, you're going to see how your body responds after 2 weeks of not having it. Mm-hmm. But also, when you have it after those 2 weeks, how your body responds. And there's no doubt you're going to feel the difference. Everything after that is choice. Mm. It's good to, create a standard that you want to have for your health, but also don't over restrict yourself where you're now stressing about getting food and what you're going to eat and become over obsessed. And often people can go down that route quite easily. Mm-hmm. With everything, there's a balance. And I think there's a focus on making sure you're eating to what your body is telling you, but also what you require based on your lifestyle. If you're a scaffolder, for example, you're going to need to eat a lot. You need to eat some good carbs. You need to eat good amount of protein and, to get those essential fats in. If you're a bit more idle, you're doing IT, for example, you may not need to eat as much, but if you cycle to work, you need to then consider that into your diet. There is an optimum way of eating for your body type.
Right.
There's no one size fits all. And there's so much misinformation out there as well. Mm. It's very easy to get sucked in. So, make sure you've just kind of got a broad sense of what to eat and what not to eat.
It sounds like we need to come to you. Because, like I said to everyone that this guy is an encyclopedia on foods, on nutrition in general.
For breakfast in the morning, personally, I like a light breakfast. It will be fruits. It will be some egg, maybe boiled or scrambled. Not overdoing it. Like, just keep it simple, keep it light. And then for lunch, with my lifestyle, to be honest, where I run a juice company, lunch is always our busiest period. I may not have lunch.
Is that by choice?
It's the nature of my business, I guess. My lunch would start from like 3 p.m. But I guess your typical lunch, for your average person, I would recommend having like sweet potato, some protein. So you can have, fish, chicken, have some natural fats. So you can introduce some avocado, make sure you got some salad on there as well. And then for your dinner, one of my favorite dinners has got to be like a stewed chicken, some yam, some plantain, like grounded together, avocados, salad, and that seems to hold me for the next day. Also, when you're preparing the food as well, steam it, roast it, don't want to fry everything.
What's up with the fried food and what's so bad about fried food? And some people fry it in like olive oil or something like that. What would you recommend?
So the main thing when it comes to frying food is the oil's molecular structure changes.
Oh, okay.
And it can become toxic. You can go from like a healthy oil to like its structures change so much that it's actually causing your body problems. Personally, I avoid fried foods. Even if I'm cooking, for example, instead of frying the spices or sauteing the onions in oil, I will do the same process, but with a layer of water and oil, because the water, the maximum temperature is 100 degrees.
Yeah.
The oil is not going to overheat and start to steam, but you're still going to get the flavors in the oil and in the water.
Wow, we're really getting into the science of cooking. And I know this man, his cooking is unbelievable.
Food preparation is very important. And that will also affect the way your body absorbs the food.
What was the reason why you started Get Juiced?
Okay. Basically, while I was traveling, which I mentioned before, I did some rock climbing.
Yeah.
I got really into it. I was climbing with people who may have had a drink the day before, eating different stuff. And I saw how that affect their climb and also affect how responsible they were for the person holding your life in their hands.
Whoa, that's serious.
Yeah, and somebody almost dropped me on my back.
Really?
Yeah, and I could smell alcohol in their breath.
Oh.
So they didn't have that clarity. And so, waking up in the morning in Thailand with a hangover, I was like, I don't need this.
Uh-huh.
What am I doing? I stopped. And then I started eating cleaner. I saw my climbing improving. I could climb for longer. My endurance was getting better. Then I started learning about food and I realized how much food impacts our health. I could see how people that I cared about around me, family members having diabetes, having polymyalgia, having arthritis, and different health implications and how much that affected them. Waking up in the morning in pain. Like we've got enough going on in our lives. We've got enough, stimuli, as we were talking about before.
Yeah.
We don't want to be waking up in pain.
Yeah.
And a lot of that came down to the fact that we're not educated about food. And I decided I would then read books and teach myself about food and nutrition and how that impacts our body. When I started doing that, there was a day where I was just in my room and I was just laying in bed. All of light just came into me and it was like a real, powerful sensation, overwhelming. I basically was in tears, and after that moment, it came to me what I needed to do. With all that emotion and all that thoughts, I then decided I'm going to personally open a business. It wasn't even a business at the time, to be honest. It was a purpose. And I thought, I need to serve juice, literally. I watched a documentary called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. In that documentary, there's a guy who goes around healing people with different ailments, diabetes, obesity, heart problems, people suffering from strokes, heals them all with juicing. Amazing documentary, very inspiring. And it gave me an avenue to go down where I could bring forward lessons that I've learned through my experience and share that with others. And yeah, that's basically the root of how I started.
Diabetes is a big thing right now, especially within our community. Okay, it's a major thing for a lot of men as well. So maybe expound on how the juicing can help with that as well.
Just to touch on, there's a few people. There's Dr. Aris Lantham, there's Dr. Maxwell Gerson, there's Dr. Norman Walker, and there's many more that have used juicing to heal people as a method of healing. You know, through their works, through my experience, I can see that juicing can contribute to people's healing and wellness. And healing diabetes is obviously, it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
And it's a sensitive one. And honestly, if I go out there and I say, you know, I believe I can heal diabetes, I'm the messenger. And people don't like the messenger always. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But in my humble opinion and my experience, I've seen it.
In your experience?
Yes.
Remember, it's in Leon's experience.
Yes.
Okay, so, we're not going to go against what the doctors are saying.
Yeah.
Well, there are other ways of...
There's other ways.
Of curing it.
Like we said from before, there's not one fits all.
Right.
There's different ways for everybody. It's amazing, you know, creating a great product and serving that to people, knowing that work there is actually serving and healing people. I didn't want to get caught in the mix of not only like the politics behind it, but also, you know, people may come with expectations and maybe, you know, with my recommendations, I couldn't fulfill that. But saying that I have helped many people, and because of the people that I've helped, I've had amazing experiences. You know, there's a woman who clearly says I helped her heal her cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, and she let me stay at hers in Uganda, and we went on safaris and, you know, had a beautiful experience. It's not me that does the healing, by the way. The healing comes from the fruits and the vegetables. Yeah. And there's people that are aware of that and they come to me and they get their juice because they know that it's going to help them. I'm sure there will be a time in my life where the focus will be, how can I inspire people to heal through my workshops and through my words and not just through my juice.
Would you look into writing yourself a book or writing a book, or
definitely.
How do you go about that?
Definitely. Well, now we've got AI. It's a great time to write a book, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're not going to do all AI. It's going to have you in there, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it's about, like, you know, writing your own book, but using AI as a tool to, you know, make sure everything's structured and aligned and written in a good way. Like I said, I was told I had dyslexia. Academia is not my favorite tool. And I'll be honest, like, writing for hours. Yeah,
I can see.
It's a real...
it's a ball ache, really, isn't it?
Ball ache. It's a challenge. You know, I'm willing to do it. I just haven't got to that point.
Right.
And I guess it will happen when I create more time outside of my current business, which requires a lot of time.
Okay.
You just got to kind of create the time for it, which I haven't done.
That's going to be the next chapter of Leon Morant, Mr. Get Juiced, a part of his life that we're going to really know more about, the real man that he is. What are some words of inspiration you'd say to other men that are watching this right now? Something that's been impactful in your life, or a message that you want to give to some of the men out there listening?
One of the famous sayings is, God will never give you more than you can handle. So when you're going through hard times, you're going through pressures, and you're being tested, you need to remember that God only gives you what you can handle. So find a solution. Don't create more problems, and you will be guided in the right direction. And just have faith that everything that you want to achieve, everything that you need and require for your day and your life will be bestowed upon you. And keep gratitude close to you. Be grateful, even when it's challenging too. And remember, through hard lessons, there's blessings.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Through hard lessons, there's blessings. That's brilliant. That's phenomenal. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to be using that one from now. How can we find you? How do you promote your business?
So my business is based, as we said, in Tooting Market in South London. We're open from 9 till 5. Friday, we close at 6, and Saturday. So come down. Always happy to greet you, meet you, introduce yourselves, and hopefully we can make your experience with juicing special. And you can find my handle on Instagram. It's Get Juiced Bar. We're open to taking requests on Instagram. You know, if you're interested in doing a juice cleanse or you have an inquiry about the juices, we're there.
And if you really, really do want to elevate your life, you want to go down to Get Juiced, partake of what he has and listen to the wisdom that comes out of his mouth. I can't wait for you to write the book. I can't wait to see you on different platforms speaking and educating men out there how they can live an impactful life. You know, I'm looking forward to that. You've been listening to an inspirational young man who is going places, Leon Morant. Thank you very much for coming on this podcast and being an inspiration to us all.
Thank you.
All right. We started this platform for men to engage, to come together and learn from each other. But the root of it and the basis of it is our organisation, the company that we run called Mastermind Academy. So visit Mastermind Academy, www.mastermindacademy.co.uk. Online courses, we do online training, we do coaching, we do mentoring, we do speaking. We do bespoke training for individuals that want it as well. The website on there to find out a bit more about us, and we can have a one-on-one conversation just to find out and gauge where you are and show you what we can offer you as well. And if you want to go on Instagram or at Mastermind Academy UK Limited, Mastermind Academy UK LinkedIn as well. So thank you for listening to this podcast. This has been amazing, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for supporting the platform. We hope you share to your friends, share it to whoever you feel is necessary, and learn from it.